nurturing culture in the workplace is not just good vibes and free lunches. It's about creating a safe environment for everyone to thrive.
Welcome to the Marketing Mentors podcast, brought to you by RedPandas Digital. My name's Tasha and I'm here with Sophie today, as Linda is a little bit under the weather. So thank you, Sophie, so much for joining us. It's awesome to have you in here, even though it was a little bit last minute.
No worries.
So I'm really, really excited about today's topic. It's company culture and nurturing company culture within a business, why it's so important, how we do it at RedPandas, and just opening up the conversation about culture.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're a really great person to be talking about that as our head of culture here at RedPandas, as well as many other roles you play. But obviously, the one thing that I kind of wanted to kick us off with, talking about company culture, was this idea of psych safety or psychological safety, which is something really close to us here at RedPandas. It's actually one of our core values. Maybe you can kick us off with letting us know a little bit more about what psychological safety actually is.
Yeah. Okay. So you mentioned that psych safety is one of our core values. So just going back a bit, company culture is very, very important for us. We've grown as a result of having good company culture, and that's just the idea of having a set of values, principles, practices in place that influence our leadership style, not just our leadership style, but from top to bottom and on a linear perspective. It influences the team and their actions and how they approach their work and how they approach relating to us on a personal level.
Yeah, exactly.
So psychological safety is a big thing for Moby and I running RedPandas, because it's the idea that you feel safe to express yourself, especially to management and leaders, without the fear of being punished or humiliated.
Exactly. And that fear
for your concerns.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I feel like that fear of being punished or ridiculed for something that you want to say to your leaders or your team members is so prevalent in a lot of places, and people don't realize that they don't have psychological safety in their workplace.
I think you don't realize you have it until you have it.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, you don't realize you're psychologically safe until you feel like I want to bring this up with my manager. And that might be I wasn't happy with the way you spoke to me last week. I wasn't happy with the way we dealt with this issue at work. Or it's the idea as well, like, it's not just negative issues. It's allowing, that entrepreneurial spirit within people to come and be like, I know you guys are doing it this way, but I feel like we could do it better.
Yeah.
So we benefit as a whole when we're honest and transparent with each other.
Yeah. I love psychological safety. I'll use it at work a lot, personal life as well. I think it's so much more, like you said, so much more of just saying, I'm going to say this now, no offense. It's I want to say something constructive. I want to say something that's on my mind before, like now, as a seedling of a thought or an idea or a feeling, before it turns into something,
and actually,
huge.
Yeah, I agree. And I don't like I don't know why, but when someone says no offense, that
it's about to be offensive.
It's about to be offensive. Yep. And so it's got that negative connotation, that line in particular. And so if you notice, we don't say things like no offense. We say, I'd really like to express myself. I know this is a safe environment, a safe space for me to talk.
Yep.
Do you have time?
And keeping it professional, not attacking people personally. I think that's where creating this psychological safety within a company nurtures that culture.
And that's really important to me. I've been in environments where, I think we've all been in environments where you didn't feel respected, or you knew that something was being spoken about you behind your back in a bad way. And here, I'm not saying that we all get along all the time, but when issues do arise, we eliminate the politics of it all, And so we're able to come in a constructive way and not in a snarky way.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that kind of segues us really nicely into the next topic that I want to talk about on company culture. The reason that I think we do it so well here at Red Pandas, and this is, yes, this is a plug. Red Pandas has got great company culture, and I can say that because I work here and I love this place. But you and Moby and our leaders have empathy. So just for our listeners to be careful between sympathy and empathy, often people get it confused or, misunderstand the two. Sympathy is when I can feel for you and, I can say, yeah, I feel for you, what you're going through. But what you guys display, what we display, I think, is a really strong sense of empathy. So when someone comes to us in that psychological safe environment and they say, I have this problem or I feel this way, not only can we say, I feel for you, but we can say, I can see what you're going through. I'm putting myself in your position and I can empathize with what you're going through.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, empathy, like you said, it's different from sympathy because empathy is actively imagining yourself in that person's shoes and then trying to feel how they would be feeling. And then also, if you're not approaching a person, a human, from a point of empathy, you're really not allowing for creative solutions to flow and problem solving to occur.
Yeah, I love that.
No,
I love that. I wrote it down. I remember we spoke about it before, and I said, you can't be creative in your problem solving if you're not empathetic, which is so true.
I'm a mum of 2 kids, and I break it down. I think of my kids, they're 10 and 8. If they're having a breakdown, they're struggling. All their problems are big problems to them. They're little problems to us because it's like, what can an 8-year-old, be so upset about, But they're all big problems. So I have to bring myself down to their level and understand that this is a big problem for them.
Mm-hmm.
From that point on, they're more open to moving forward or finding a solution or working with me, not against me. If that works with kids, imagine with adults, who are fully formed, who can make rational decisions, So, yeah, definitely empathy is a trait that you need to activate.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard, but you need to activate it. It's like a verb, it's a doing.
Yeah, exactly. And let's tie it together in a psychological safe environment when you can go to your leader or your team member and have those open, candid conversations, and empathy can be practiced.
Yeah.
That creativity can come into play, the problem solving comes into play, you achieve better results.
Yes.
You're more comfortable to achieve those results.
I mean, I like to approach, my leadership style is very different to Moby's. We complement each other, obviously. Yeah. You guys would know, the problems you come to Moby for are very different to the problems you come to me for.
Yeah, of course.
So I think you guys know, I think you need to know who you can feel comfortable with.
Yeah.
And to open up to with different sorts of issues. But my approach to leading the team and nurturing culture here at Red Pandas really is a holistic approach. It's hard to separate your personal life from your professional life.
Yeah, I really don't think you can. This is a whole other podcast topic.
Yeah.
But I tend to disagree with the whole personal, professional. Yeah. They are intertwined.
They are intertwined. And
so
anyone,
much.
I mean, you just have to experience it for yourself. If you're stressed at work, your quality of life at home is very low.
Yeah.
You tend to take it out on your kids, your husband, your partner, whatever the situation might be at home, and vice versa. If your quality of life at home is at its weakest, you come to work, you're not going to be productive.
Yeah, exactly. And same with, like you said, with work. If you're feeling under the pump at work, you're not getting the support you need.
Yes.
The stresses, they seep out. They seep out into the rest of your life. So that's where it's kind of like work-life balance. Well, really, it's this, how can I make them work together?
Exactly.
How can I make them work together? And how can I make sure I find a workplace or a team or a mentor or a leader that helps me achieve that? And that could include things like what type of the values are at the business that I work for.
Yes, I
It's like
think that's
safety,
really important.
empathy.
Communicating your own personal values to the business and to the company that you work with. I think a great deal of respect is exchanged.
Yeah.
As a result, when you're clear on your communication of your values,
And there's an alignment.
And there's an alignment
between that business and yourself.
Exactly. And so when a company as well, when we are able to communicate our values strongly to the rest of the team, the studies show that that's actually a trait of high performing teams, because the values are clear.
Yep.
Everyone knows what they need to aspire to. And so you're working together, not against each other. You're
Yep.
working together towards a shared goal.
Yeah, 100%. I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. I think the last topic I want to talk about, and this like kind of links really nicely to the whole, your work life, business life, work life, personal life are intertwined and are
Yes.
aligned.
Yeah.
Obviously, the last 2 years has been pretty hectic for everyone.
Yeah.
And I think that idea of personal and
Yes.
work life is like more prevalent now than ever.
The past 2 years with the pandemic and in and out of lockdowns, I think the pandemic, what it did was highlight how important good culture, good company culture is.
Yeah, spot on.
So if it's all well and good to have, team lunches together,
Yep.
like you get a free lunch every now and then. We do team bonding activities. We have a bit of a laugh, that's all well and good, but that's only one aspect of good company culture. I think it shows how strong it is when it did show for us anyway, when we were isolated from each other. And the impact of what good company culture had on us when we were away from each other.
And we have a fantastic company culture, and it was still really hard.
And it
for
was
all
still
of us.
hard.
It was really hard not to be with you guys every day, but at least touching in, seeing each other,
Yes.
giving high fives, just being amongst the team.
Yes.
It was hard not seeing us all.
It was really, really hard. And I have to say, that's how we were onto a good thing.
Yeah.
Because then we were all, I remember that time you got upset when a few of us planned to come into the office and you couldn't come in. That FOMO, I know the FOMO is real, but that's how we're on the right track, because and that's how I knew that company culture was very, very important for me to nurture and to have those emotional check-ins with everyone, to check on their mental health, to check on how are they coping, what's their capacity like, how are you communicating? We all have different communication styles.
Yep.
And so that was really hard as well during the pandemic and during isolation, learning each other's communication styles. And things get lost in translation as well, like over team chat or not picking up the phone. Like here we can just turn to each other and ask
you can
a question.
see like someone's face in a second.
Yeah.
And how stressed or not stressed or lonely or not lonely or happy or unhappy they are.
Exactly.
And that affects the mood of the room.
Exactly.
It affects your work product, your productivity levels, absolutely everything. When you're at home, and I think anyone that went through, working from home over the last 2 years, or even if you weren't working, even if you were just stuck at home, you can resonate with the fact that it got lonely. And everyone was feeling the same way. And I think what you and Moby and the team collectively managed to do was stay strong and united. And when we could see each other, we did. And I think the beauty that's come out of the last 2 years is we have this incredible culture now where we have this hybrid nature of working.
Yes.
So we don't say, we're fully remote or we're fully back in the office. We have this literally every day or every evening. In our team group Slack channel, we basically communicate with each other and say, who's in tomorrow? I'm in.
Yes.
Lunch, do you want to do this? Or some people are like, no, I'm at home. I've got deep work, whatever it might be.
And that's fine as well.
Exactly. Whatever we choose to do, we do try to have a bit of a, a rule with each other that we try to come in once a week at least, not all at the same time, but a group of us once a week to see each other, to keep up that morale that we were talking about before.
I've been seeing a lot on LinkedIn lately, different posts about certain workplaces forcing, their employees to come back to work and the backlash on that. And I think that it's quite dangerous to have an either or position, of working remotely. Like I see some companies have decided to allow all employees to work remotely, which is great. Like sometimes in a lot of industries that might work, but I don't think that's something that should be celebrated across the board. I feel like that the hybrid work culture really is the future of good company culture.
Yep.
Only because you get to have true work-life balance.
Yep.
I feel when you have days to work from home and days to work on site at the office, to have those emotional check-ins, to be able to be able to interact with your colleagues.
Yep.
And
break up the scenery.
And also the idea that your home should be a source of rest
and peace and calm, and
and if you're working from home 24/7, it's hard to
differentiate.
That's right. Yeah. And I experienced that. Yeah. To go from working from home, both Moby and I, sharing an office, to also I not only did I have to work from home, but I had to homeschool. And I wouldn't call it homeschooling, that's the wrong term. We were home learning. That's what we were doing. With 2 kids full time was tough.
Yeah.
There are times I did not want to be at home. Like home was not a place I wanted to be. So definitely the hybrid working environment model is what works best for us. And we definitely find that nice balance between work and home.
And that contributes to the company's culture, and it makes it more desirable for us to, want to work here. Number one, knowing that we're going to have that flexibility between where and when and how we work, but also it's just it kind of ties back to that psych safety. Like we've created a safe place for people to say, oh, I want to work from home tomorrow, or you know what, I want to finish up at 4 o'clock on Friday afternoon so I can scoot off to dinner with my partner, so I work from home so I don't have to worry about the commute like that.
That's
psychological safety is encouraged here.
Yeah.
And we are living it day in and day out. And
it will go back to the root of it all is having empathy. And the fact that we all went through lockdown together, like we can empathize with each other.
Exactly.
We know all those mental health struggles that each and every one of us went through.
That's it.
So, and I also did some research. Like I was like, why is empathy so important for me? Like there must be some evidence to back that up. And funnily enough, there was. And the data shows that, leaders who lead from a place of empathy, I think it was something like 67% of employees experienced increased engagement at work.
Yeah, there you go.
So you get increased engagement. It's as a business owner, it might be selfish reasons, but it benefits everyone as a whole. You have a higher retention rate, so people are less likely to leave your company.
Yep.
People feel like they belong and they're included, and innovation goes up.
Yeah, 100%.
Because you're engaged.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you're allowing for that safe place for the creativity and
to take creative risks as well.
Exactly, to make mistakes.
Man,
we could probably talk about this for hours.
I think so. Just based on pure experience.
Literally, that's it. But it's been really, really exciting. I love talking about company culture with you, Soph. I think you do a fantastic job at keeping the company culture here top of mind, and I know it's everyone. I think everyone at RedPandas does a great job at empowering and living by the things that we want to strive to be good at: psych safety, empathy, autonomy. So
that leads to our community, our little RedPandas community.
Exactly.
Right? We like to say that we're building a community here, not family. Family's family. Like we all have family, and we know all the negatives and positives that come with family. But community, like a place where everyone feels valued and a place where they're providing value as well.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Well, Soph, that's it for time. I'm so grateful that you jumped on and we had this chat today. No, of course. If you've got any feedback or any ideas, listeners, as to what we can talk about in the Marketing Mentor podcast, hit us up at redpandasdigital.com.au. Looking forward to our next session. Thanks.
Thank you.